Welcome back to Phat Pack Magic. The cube is charged up and fired off, and we've got some amazing vintage cube gameplay here for you today. Jimmy is on the left and he's drafted a mono green deck, which you can see in the previous video. And on the right we've got Ryan with an interesting Sultai mid-range kind of deck. Now, they've been able to kind of look over and scout each other's decks, and Jimmy has to have an aggressive play. He doesn't have time to let Ryan set up and start getting value out of his cards. No, Jimmy needs an aggressive start. And he's going and throwing his hand back into the deck, shuffling up as Ryan decides on whether or not his hand is good enough to keep. Looks like he's got a Mana Crypt in there, a Hydroid Crassus, but it's not enough. He's shuffling it in as well. They're both going to go down to 6 eventually. And Jimmy presents a deck, so does Ryan. Both of them confirming that this is their deck because same sleeves. And this hand looks a lot better of a start for Jimmy. A turn 1 elf, a Savannah, and a little bit of a payoff to go with it. So he decides to keep, as Ryan is looking through his cards and it looks like he's going to tuck the Solemn Simulacrum to the bottom. And Jimmy starts off with that turn 1 Llanowar Elves, one of the most dangerous plays in the game. And Ryan looks like he's got a really interesting hand. Looks like a Dark Ritual. And he's going to play an Underground Sea into that Dark Ritual. No Shriekmaw. No, instead he's going to go for a Demonic Tutor. And a Tutor on turn 1. That is scary. That is really scary. And he selects a Squirrel Nest. An interesting pick. Jimmy cuts and draws for turn. Plays a land. And he follows up his turn with a Golgari Signet. A little bit of artifact ramp in there. And pings Ryan for 1 down to 19. Ryan draws. And it's that Solemn Simulacrum again. But Ryan plays Earthcraft. Wow! So Ryan has the combo of Squirrel Nest and Earthcraft. And now Jimmy is unknowingly just dead. He's got to figure out some way to deal with one of these enchantments before Ryan can go infinite. But here's a Finale of Devastation. And that's going to pull out Raphellos. And he swings at Ryan, bringing Ryan down to 18. Ryan draws. But he's got Abrupt Decay in hand and a Shriekmaw. Raphellos is not long for this world as Abrupt Decay decides. Crunching Raphellos to the graveyard. And killing Jimmy's Tooth and Nail payoff card in hand. Man, he would have been able to fire that off with Entwine because, wow, yeah, Jimmy had 10 mana on board with the Raphellos, but now he's stuck with a Tooth and Nail in hand and a Garruk. Now he's going to drop the Garruk, and he might be able to go off with Tooth and Nail next turn by plussing Garruk and getting some mana going. But, well, Ryan used his Abrupt Decay, so he might be in trouble here because he doesn't seem to have his third forest, or second forest. Jimmy pings Ryan down, but Ryan draws a Misty Rainforest, shows a Squirrel Nest, shows Earthcraft. I make infinite squirrels. Infinite squirrels. And Jimmy scoops it up there, giving Ryan his game 1 win. But thing is, I think Jimmy might have had an out to that, because the squirrels all come to play tapped, and maybe he could have Tooth and Nailed for a Crater Hoof and something else to just blow out with damage. But no, Ryan, man, infinite squirrels, and Ryan is siding out a card. And so is Jimmy. He's pulling out that Golgari Signet because it doesn't look like it's going to do enough. I mean, Jimmy has tons of ramp, he has tons of good creatures at 1, and he's got tons of acceleration. I don't think the Golgari Signet is going to do what he wants it to. And Terastodon might have been perfect there because he could have blown up the land, and that makes the infinite squirrels. But looks like they're getting ready to shuffle up 20 life apiece. Jimmy is shuffling, Giving that good old shuffle. And Ryan's deck is ready to present. And here we go. They're drawing up their opening hands. Now, Ryan had that amazing start. Just being able to Dark Ritual into Demonic Tutor. He had the Earthcraft in hand. And he had the Squirrel Nest with the Demonic Tutor. That's painful. But I'm looking at Jimmy's hand. And it's pretty scary too. He's only lacking a land. But here comes turn 1 Mox Emerald. Llanowar Elves. And you know what? Another Mox just for good measure. But no land. Still, he could be on turn 4 next turn. But no. And there, no land again. Looks like he's going to drop that Avacyn's Pilgrim, which is going to add white. But he swings at Ryan for 1, bringing him down to 19, and Ryan is going to search up a forest with Ash Barrens, giving him all the color he needs. So he draws, and there's a Shriek Maw. It looks like he's going to eat that Avacyn's Pilgrim, keeping Jimmy off of white, but I think green might have been better. But it seems to be a moot point here because Jimmy has, again, not drawn a land. So he's going to play an Eternal Witness, bringing back the Avacyn's Pilgrim, and pass the turn back to Ryan. And Ryan is just able to completely set up here, dropping down Leovold. Now, the draw might be moot. Jimmy doesn't have a lot of targeting spells, but Leovold definitely nixes the Memory Jar in Jimmy's hand. But now Jimmy has a full board of elves, and Ryan is going to play a Utopia Sprawl. Tap, tap, Toxic Deluge, paying 1 life. Pretty good, says Jimmy, and swings in at Jimmy, bringing it down to 18 all, as Jimmy just lost 4 cards in 1 turn. But here's Scavenging Ooze, and this might be the backup game plan for Jimmy to just make a big freaking ooze that Ryan can't get through. But Ryan plays Pernicious Deed, and Pernicious Deed is going to crack for 2, and that's going to leave Jimmy down to 1 forest, as he gains 1 life off of exiling a card with the Scavenging Ooze. But Ryan swings in for 3. Jimmy, at a lone forest in play, plays a Boreal Druid. And now Ryan is commanding this game with 6 lands in play to Jimmy's 1, as he plays a Hydroid Crassus to draw 2 cards and pass the turn. Jimmy plays out a Sylvian Caryatid, defiant in his lot in life right now. He's going to try and get there. He's not dead yet. Jimmy has Plow Under in hand. He can set Ryan back 2 turns, but Ryan plays out Nissa, Steward of Elements, and she's going to be able to scry 2. And effectively, Jimmy's not going to be able to use that Plow Under because Ryan will just be able to bottom the 2 forests. And Jimmy still has to deal with a 4/4 Flying Crassus and a Leovold. Ryan swings in for 7 damage. Jimmy can't block. His elves are the key to victory here. There's no way Jimmy has an out without those elves. And unfortunately, it doesn't look like he drew anything reliable, anything good. Oh man, and here's the handshake. Oh wow, Jimmy stuck on lands, but had 2 Moxen that just got blown out by the Pernicious Deed. And Ryan being able to just squirrel his way to victory in the first game, and Hydroid Crassus proving its worth as swinging in as a 4/4 Flying Trampler. Man, what a game. Ryan is going to take this match win, and we're going to see him again next time. So be sure to like, follow, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Check us out on Instagram and check us out on Patreon if you like this content and you feel like supporting. And until next time, may all your packs be fat.